to pull that a bit closer to you. Right, we have got our first in-person press conference for a long time, so welcome. Really nice to have you all here. We have England head coach Eddie Jones ahead of our short training camp, which starts on Sunday. You'll have all had the squad announcements now. I'll pass over to Eddie first, and then we'll come to the floor for some questions. Thanks, Eddie.
Well, firstly, it's good to see the white of your eyes. We're excited about the first camp. Obviously, 16 months ago to the World Cup, and our aim is the World Cup. So this is a small step, but a significant step. Bit of an experimental squad because of the fact that we're preparing for the Barbarians game and then going on the Australian tour. And as you know, the players are drip-fed into the squad over that period of time. So as a result, we've left some senior players out. There's some young guys we want to have a look at. I think the quality of rugby over Europe over the last couple of weekends has been extremely high. So we're looking forward to getting the players together and getting a bit of a base ready for Australia. So happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Eddie. Russ, we'll come to you first. Thanks.
Eddie, good to see you. You've touched a bit there on the blended youth experience and why. So what kind of things are you hoping to see over the 3 days in London? What kind of areas are you working on specifically, do you plan?
Well, in terms of the squad, there's some players who have done well over the last period of time. We want to have a look at them and see what they can bring to the table. So that's number one. Number two, we've got 13 clubs in England, and we've got to bring them all back together and find a style that suits the strengths of the players.
Touched on Europe briefly there, some brilliant matches, I totally agree. Is it a concern salary cap wise or what that some of the English clubs haven't gone maybe as deep as you'd like for a couple of years?
Well, the only thing I'm worried about is the national team, mate. That's my job, and we'd obviously like to see English teams doing a little bit better, but I'm not too concerned about things that I don't control, mate.
Owen Farrell, Manu Tuilagi among some big names obviously back in. Maybe start with Owen for a moment and what good news that is. How excited are you to have him back after such a frustrating run?
It's been a tough period for him. Started with his club being relegated and he had a tough time playing then. Number of injuries, but he's back playing. He's been consistently good for his club and part of the reasons why Saracens have progressed so far in the European Championship and obviously doing well in the Premiership. So it's good to see him back and fit. I caught up with Manu last night in Manchester. He was looking very fit and enthusiastic and he really wants to make an imprint on this Australian tour. So, our job with Sale is to get him physically right and ready to go. And
on that note, I was going to say, is there anything new you're continuing to do or is it always an evolution with managing Manu's body?
Well, we want a revolution, mate, not an evolution. And it's all about finding out what's right for him. He's slowly learning what he needs to do. The sales staff have been fantastic and our staff have worked with them together to make sure we put him in the best position so he can play as many games as possible.
Just finally from me, some more exciting youngsters coming in who are uncapped. There's a long list of them there. Are there a couple maybe that excite you and maybe just your broader thought process on, again, some new generation players coming in?
Yeah, well, we just need to wait and see. We'll get them into camp and have a look at them. Obviously there's been a fair bit of publicity about the young boy from London Irish, but we'll just wait and see.
Thank you.
Thanks, Russ. Julian Guy, please.
Yes. Just on the young boy from London Irish, what is it about Henry Arundell that's persuaded you to bring him in? What have you seen from him that makes you think you want to work with him?
Well, we watched him during the 20s. He was impressive in the 20s. He's got exceptional pace. He probably reminds me a lot of Matt Giddo in terms of his desire to attack. Not the way he plays, but his desire to attack. And I was particularly impressed when I went out and watched him play against Wasps. The first ball was kicked to him, he knocked it on cold. So it wasn't a great start. There's all this hoo-ha about him being a fantastic player and he knocks the ball on cold. Next ball he gets a long pass, sees backspace, chips and scores. And that's the sort of mindset you want to see from young players that want to take on the game. So that's impressive with his pace, obviously.
Mitch, please, thanks.
In the 2016 tour was a fantastic time for him, and really kind of impressed everybody how good they were. How much of a test will it be this time? It'll be the same kind of new challenge for you?
Well, yeah, Australia's in a different position now than they were in 2016. 2016, they were an established team coming on the back of a World Cup final where they'd done exceedingly well. If you look at the Super Rugby teams at the moment, they're very young teams. A lot of good young players coming through, and I'm not going to try to pick Dave Rennie's team for him, but it looks like they'll have a fairly young team that'll play that traditional Dave Rennie type of rugby. A lot of ball movement, a lot of sequence plays. So the challenge in the game will be different, and obviously the game's changing considerably. If you just look at the game's getting more discreet. I watched the game on Saturday. The first half took 65 minutes because the referee went to the TMO for nearly every decision. So the game's becoming more powerful, shorter blocks of intense period of play. So it's much different from when we went there in 2016. We've got to make sure that we prepare well for that sort of rugby. Fast pitches. The first game's at Perth. It's an AFL ground, very fast. They're going to have 60,000 screaming Australians there. Like, they've already sold the game out. It's fantastic for rugby.
If you win the first couple of games there, would you ever have imagined that you'd be looking at England looking at double figures kind of wins over Australia?
That's for you guys to talk about, not for me.
James Cole, will come to you, thanks.
Just on Mako returning, how big an opportunity is this for him, and what was you thinking there?
Yeah, look, as I said, there was no doors ever been closed on the player. Players select or deselect themselves. And whilst Mako's been out for injury, his play before that was exceptional. We want to have a look at him, see whether he can add to the team.
Is there any reason why he can't go to the World Cup?
All he has to do is try to get in the team to play against Barbarians first.
Owen Farrell, will he be captain if fit?
Well, it's a camp. We don't need to have a captain for the camp.
So you've not thought of long term in terms of Australia at all when he remains captain? Or?
Well, when we get up to the selection for the tour, we'll decide those things.
Thanks. Do we have anything else for the live section? Okay, thanks very much, guys. We'll end that there. We'll head down for the Daily Writers briefing.
Thank you.